I make sure everything we make's raw. Y'all know y'all hip hop. What's that from? I make sure everything we make's raw. Devin Haney receives the bad news regarding the Lewis Crocker fight from Lewis Crocker's own promoter. Now, in this video, I will let you know what's going on. So stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. You're now rocking with the best, man. Bad news for Devin Haney. Eddie Hearn has basically come out and dumped cold water on a potential fight that the Haneys are looking at, right? This is a fight with Lewis Crocker. In a brand new interview, this is what Eddie Hearn had to say about it. Quote, unless Turkey Al-Sheikh turns around and makes the fight, who's going to pay the money that those guys want and need for that fight? Meaning Haney and Crocker. Because it doesn't generate it. If we can make the Devin Haney fight, or if we can make a big fight with Keyshawn or whoever it's going to be, we'll look at it. But right now, we've got to make a defense. So, what does this mean? Bad news for Devin Haney. Look, we know that after the Brian Norman fight, that would probably be up Devin Haney's alley. You got a lot of players in the division or in or around the division that are occupied or soon to be occupied. Mario Barrios, likely to fight Ryan Garcia. So the Ryan rematch, Barrios being a champion, that's out the way for right now. And that's a very good fight. Shout out to PBC. Thank you, Al Heyman. You have Keyshawn Davis. I don't know what weight he's fighting Jermaine Ortiz as of me recording the video. I haven't researched. I haven't looked into it or cared to look into it. It's either at 40 to 47. Because the only reason I'm saying that is because Keyshawn himself said that he was going to move to 147. And I know Jermaine Ortiz is a person who's pretty big, and kind of struggled to make the weight. So I don't know what they agreed to, but more on that coming soon. So them guys are occupied. Then you already beat Brian Norman. Jerron Boots Ennis already left, and he's at 54, hopefully trying to fight Virgil Ortiz. So who does that leave Devin Haney with that's available? Pacquiao and Rolly are likely to fight. Tank has been kind of MIA. But Gervonta Davis, see, I don't have one of them clout-chasing content creator channels. I am the clout. I don't have to chase clout when I am the clout. I am the sauce, right? A lot of people name drop Tank despite, if it makes sense, despite the rationality to it, because Tank generates views. We know that. We know that. And it's funny because you still, to this day, have people who refuse to admit that Gervonta Davis is him, right? Where Canelo was considered the face of boxing, but he got cooked. So he's kind of out the way. He's an older fighter. He didn't look good in his last two fights, at least. Before that, a couple fights before that, he lost to Bivol, right? And Crawford cooked him, polished him off, pause. Crawford retired. And then, Inoue and Usyk, very good fighters, especially Usyk. Inoue, he's cool, but he just fought, and nobody really was even talking about it. I don't even know, what is the live gate that he did in Saudi Arabia? Oh, that's right. The numbers never came out because, it didn't generate no buzz, no attention, no money. So that leaves Gervonta Davis in terms of blockbuster stars that boxing has. Tank Davis, right? Who also beat Ryan Garcia, who is a big name despite never being a champion in Ryan. So back to Devin Haney. What is he going to do? Who is he going to fight? The Lewis Crocker fight, I've already told you, is horrible to me. And it's a testament to how much the welterweight division has fallen off. I mean, since I started covering boxing up until probably right now, and I've been in the game, what did Biggie say? Ugh, that's real. It's like Puff say, I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal. There's rules to this. I wrote you a manual, right? I've been in this game for years, and I am not being facetious or joking around when I say this is perhaps the weakest that I've seen the welterweight division. Because if I'm lying, I'm flying. Name another year where the welterweight division, talent-wise, name recognition-wise, was weaker than it was or it is right now. Because in 2015, right around there, Mayweather fought Pacquiao. So you had Mayweather, Pacquiao. You had Errol Spence, who was on, the up and coming, on the mend. You had Keith Thurman. You had Danny Garcia. You had Sean Porter. You had Kell Brook. So basically, realistically, right? You had the chocolate right-hand brownie himself. And I'm sure there's other people that I'm leaving out. After that, you had Crawford and Errol Spence and your Dennis Ugas. Still had the Keith Thurman, you know what I mean? Jerron Boots Ennis after that, and Virgil Ortiz, right? So you had prominent people that people have been checking for. And I don't even have to go back before 2015 because with Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, Zab Judah, Kodos, it was popping at 47. So right now, welterweight is trash. And it just got a whole lot worse because Eddie Hearn's keeping it real. I understand what he's saying. If Turkey ain't going to bankroll a Devin Haney fight with Lewis Crocker, then who's going to do it? You basically have Eddie Hearn saying, I'm not doing it. What Devin is pretty much going to ask for, and then Lewis Crocker to be in the unification, what he's going to want his highest purse, right? I'm unifying for my title. I'm fighting an undefeated fighter. You're going to have to pay like you weigh. And there's no money to really be made if both main event people are asking for too much money. So it's looking ugly for the Haneyacks because the Haneyacks only exist on the internet. I try to tell y'all, never in real life, because this is how you know. You always have these radical like the Bud Buddies and the Haneyacks, but when it comes time, if you really are about it, like you want to argue with people in the comment section and have this comment thread and reply to every comment, but when it comes time to actually spending your hard-earned money on the fighter that you're doing all this for, they never do it. And the reason we know that is because the numbers show. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. At the end of the day, you can't fake that. Devin Haney, he was a couple of fights ago, he was on the undercard to Ryan Garcia, the guy who cheated him, right? And messed up his trajectory. So the Brian Norman fight, you were on the undercard to David Benavidez. So realistically, Devin's been fighting on the undercard, but let the Haneyacks tell it. They'll say like, oh, Devin's the biggest star. He a good little fighter, but star power, is not what the Haneyacks would lead you to believe, right? And then you put in a guy like Lewis Crocker, no one really is asking for the fight. No one that I've seen really wants the fight, right? Like, oh man, I'm chomping at the bit to see the fight. And then on top of that, you have expensive purses. Like for me, I'm talking about a real life boxing fan. I like Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz, and it probably comes with a cheaper price tag because it's not a title fight, but yet it's a better fight. You know what I mean? So it becomes hard to justify. Even Shakur and Tio, there's some market value there. Two East Coast dudes, Newark, a guy who's claiming New York, right? You put him in Madison Square Garden. There's some value there with the namesake and the recognition. No one knows outside of the UK, and if your name is Liam, nobody knows who Lewis Crocker is in the States like that. And Devin his resume, not really his resume, but his brand hasn't really fully recovered from the Ryan Garcia fight, and he's not been the main event. So we'll see. But I don't know how this fight goes on unless people have more realistic purses. And a lot of people praised Turkey and was like, oh, he's giving the fighter so much money, get the turkey bag. This is part of the problem that I try to warn y'all about with the turkey bag. The Saudis have money, cool, but that bag is not endless where they're just going to be losing money hand over foot time and time again and not want to recoup some of the money. And that's why you see the DAZN Ultimate packages and they're charging pay-per-view, even though they said that they're going to get rid of the pay-per-views. You're seeing this change because it's a business. At the end of the day, nobody want to keep losing money. And I feel like, especially when you have a person like Devin Haney, whose sense of value is probably inflated, right? Because he's made good money. And he feels like, yo, I'm not doing that for that money. I'm not fighting Sandor Martin with that top rank bid. So there becomes a big problem because you have almost delusions of grandeur of how much you're worth in terms of whatever you want, and you're going to stand on that number. Problem being is you, especially without your dad talking for you, that's why Bill Haney got to do all the promotion. Leave it to Devin Haney. How about, like, what if Bill Haney had strep throat and couldn't talk? The fight promotion would be horrible if left to Devin Haney and his own devices, right? So that's why he needs his dad. A 26 or 7-year-old man needs his dad to speak for him. That's the reality of it. And so ultimately, that's the problem going on in modern boxing, especially with social media. You have fighters who believe they're worth, like, they get a certain amount of comments and they think that translates to box office success, pay-per-view sales, and they're like, yo, trying to command X amount of dollars, and they got, the people in the comment section fighting for them and arguing for them. So they tend to think that their pool is bigger. But then when it comes to people actually buying your merchandise, actually buying tickets, actually buying your pay-per-views, it'd be something different. Let me know what you think. Me, I don't really care because the welterweight division is a stale division to me. So I wasn't really looking forward to Devin Haney, Lewis Crocker. So if it happens, it happens. If it don't, because of money, we'll see what other fights can be made. For more boxing news, live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.